Okay, so many of us, myself included, really rely on coffee. I mean, it's not just a drink, is it? It's like the start button for the day.
Oh, absolutely. It's energy focus. It's that whole ritual.
Exactly. But what if? What if the best alternative was something, well, maybe unexpected, like a really good mug of drinking chocolate?
Right. It sounds maybe a bit decadent, doesn't it? Like just a treat.
Yeah.
But the sources we're looking at today suggest it's way more than that. We're really diving deep into the cocoa bean here.
Okay.
And historically, it wasn't just for pleasure. Some cultures used it almost like a natural remedy. It might actually stack up against coffee on like serious wellness points.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's unpack that because that's a big claim. So we're going to explore the actual advantages, right? Like tangible benefits to well-being.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the nutritional differences, which are pretty surprising. Plus just that, that comfort factor, the whole ritual of making it, sipping it.
With the feel.
So the mission today is really to figure out, is this switch actually worth considering? The key takeaways for you listening are you're looking at way less caffeine, potentially some digestive pluses, and a real mood boost, chemically speaking.
Okay.
But, and this is important, only if you choose the right kind of chocolate.
Right. Quality. That's immediately where my head goes because if we're replacing, a potentially healthy habit like coffee, we can't just be talking about that sugary powder stuff, can we?
No, absolutely not. That's not what this is about. We have to go straight to the source ingredient, cocoa, and specifically the active compounds in it, these things called flavonoids.
Flavonoids, okay.
Yeah. So for this whole discussion to even make sense, we're talking high quality, high cocoa chocolate, think 70% dark minimum, or like unsweetened cocoa powder.
And why that high percentage?
Because the health benefits are pretty much directly tied to how concentrated those flavonoids are. The more cocoa, the more flavonoids.
Okay, so what are these flavonoids actually doing for us? What makes them so good?
Well, their impact is pretty significant, especially for your heart and circulation.
Okay.
Flavonoids are antioxidants, right? And they help your body produce more nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it helps relax your blood vessels. It's called vasodilation.
Ah, so that means better blood flow and lower blood pressure.
Exactly. It actively helps reduce blood pressure. And that's a really big deal.
Is there solid proof? I mean, it sounds good, but you mentioned studies.
Oh, yeah, the evidence is quite strong. There's a huge meta-analysis. That means they combined the results of lots of studies, 42 of them in this case.
Okay.
And it showed that people who regularly consumed cocoa products had get this, 37% lower risk of cardiovascular disease.
37%. Wow. Just from cocoa.
Yep. And we're talking about it's like maybe one small square of dark chocolate a day. That's pretty compelling evidence-based stuff for adding high cocoa chocolate to your routine.
That is stunning. And you mentioned history, too. This wasn't just discovered recently, was it?
Not at all. Long before Europeans turned it into sweet bars, the Maya and Aztec cultures really valued cocoa.
Right.
They drank it, but it was usually unsweetened, maybe spiced, often for ceremonies, but also as medicine.
Medicine for what?
Things like fevers, digestive issues.
Yeah.
They clearly knew it had potent effects, probably because of those flavonoids and minerals we're talking about.
Fascinating. Okay, so heart health is a big one. What about the brain? You mentioned that too.
Yeah, well, if flavonoids improve blood flow generally, they also improve it to the brain, which is obviously crucial.
Makes sense.
Studies show it can boost cognitive performance, things like memory, attention. There was one specific study where people did better on a pretty complex mental task after having cocoa, a task needing focus and speed.
Better fuel delivery, better brain function. Okay. What about other general health things, like inflammation?
Yes, that's another key area. Chronic inflammation is linked to so many health problems, right? Cocoa acts as a pretty powerful anti-inflammatory. So it could potentially help with conditions like arthritis, maybe even asthma, things that are worsened by inflammation.
And minerals. You said it's nutrient dense. What are we getting besides antioxidants? Coffee doesn't have many minerals.
Right. With cocoa, you're getting quite a bit of magnesium that's vital for nerves and muscles. Also iron, which you need for energy, and zinc for your immune system.
Okay, quite packed.
Yeah. And, for anyone interested in skin health, those antioxidants and minerals, they work there too, helping with hydration, protecting against UV or pollution damage, boosting circulation for that kind of healthy glow.
Okay, so we've got the physical infrastructure covered, heart, brain, inflammation, minerals. But a huge reason people drink coffee is that energy kick, right? Hot chocolate feels different, more like a mood thing. Why does it make us feel good in a way that's different from that caffeine jolt?
Yeah, that's a great question. And here we kind of shift from the physical stuff more into neurochemistry. Chocolate actually contains a compound called phenylethylamine, PEA for short.
Phenylethylamine, PEA. Okay, bit of a mouthful. What's it doing?
Sometimes they call it the love drug, which is a bit dramatic, but it acts as a neuromodulator in your brain.
A neuromodulator.
Yeah, basically it encourages your brain to release endorphins and serotonin.
Ah, the feel-good chemicals.
Exactly. So you're not just getting a sugar high, you're actually triggering a chemical pathway that leads to feelings of like happiness, maybe excitement, just general emotional well-being. It's a genuine lift, but it's not that edgy caffeine spike.
And I guess when you pair that chemical effect with just the simple act of sipping something warm, maybe a little sweet,
Cool.
that's relaxing in itself.
Totally. The ritual itself is comforting, right?
Yeah.
It's cozy. And that sense of calm, the sources suggest it might even lead to better sleep quality later on.
Which brings us back to caffeine. That's got to be a major point of difference.
Huge difference. Let's look at the actual numbers, because this is probably the main trade-off people think about.
Okay.
Your average 8-ounce cup of regular brewed coffee, you're looking at about 95 milligrams of caffeine, give or take.
And the hot chocolate, same size, 8 ounces.
Only about 15 milligrams. 15.
Wow, okay, 95 versus 15. That's a massive drop. But wait, is 15 milligrams still enough to affect sleep for sensitive people? Or maybe make you feel it in the evening?
For some super sensitive people, maybe.
I don't know.
But think about the kind of energy you get. That 95 milligrams from coffee often gives you that sharp peak, right? Sometimes followed by jitters, anxiety, or that awful crash later.
Yeah, the crash is real.
The 15 milligram from chocolate, especially combined with the fats and carbs in it, which we'll get to, provides a much, much gentler lift. It's more sustained. You avoid those nasty side effects, and it's far less likely to mess with your sleep patterns.
So you get the warmth, the PEA mood thing, but without the caffeine overload?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
You're sidestepping most of the negatives associated with high caffeine intake.
Oh.
But, okay, we have to be realistic here. We can't just say swap coffee for chocolate without talking about the other nutritional stuff. Coffee is basically 0 calories, right? Chocolate isn't.
Good point. This isn't a free pass. We know the benefits come from the cocoa solids. But when you make it into a drink, what are the actual numbers? Let's compare that 8-ounce serving again.
Right. So the basic nutrition profile is starkly different. Black coffee, brewed, maybe 2 calories, practically no fat, maybe half a gram.
Okay. And the hot chocolate, even a good quality one.
You're looking at around 120 calories, maybe 2.5 grams of fat. And here's a big one, carbohydrates. About 24 grams in the chocolate versus 0 in the coffee.
Whoa, okay. 120 calories, 24 grams of carbs. If you're someone who has, say, 2 or 3 coffees a day, replacing those with hot chocolate, that adds up fast, doesn't it? That density could be an issue.
It absolutely could. And that's why being mindful about how you make it and how much you have is really key. But let's think about what those numbers mean beyond just calories.
Okay.
We're essentially trading speed for satiety. Coffee gives you that quick, sometimes unstable energy hit. Hot chocolate, because it has those calories, the fat, the carbs, it's much more satiating, makes you feel fuller.
Yeah.
It slows down how your body absorbs the energy. You likely won't get that rapid blood sugar spike and then the crash that can happen with caffeine on an empty stomach.
So if you just want a quick 0-calorie stimulant hit to power through, coffee wins.
Probably, yeah.
But if you want something maybe more satisfying that feels more like a mini meal or holds you over longer, chocolate could be better.
Exactly. It feels more substantial.
Yeah.
It's not just a delivery system for caffeine. But again, fairness to coffee, we have to acknowledge its own health points.
True.
It's also packed with antioxidants. And studies have linked coffee drinking to a lower risk of specific things like liver disease and type 2 diabetes.
Right. So it's not like one is good and one is bad.
No, not at all. It's a trade-off. It really depends on what your personal health goals and sensitivities are.
Okay, so if someone listening is thinking, all right, I'm tempted, maybe especially for that morning cup. Let's talk digestion, because coffee can be rough on the stomach for some people, right? The acidity.
Yeah, that's a really common issue. Coffee is quite acidic. It can trigger acid reflux, indigestion, just general discomfort for a lot of folks.
So does chocolate have an advantage there?
Potentially, yes. Especially thinking back to those anti-inflammatory flavonoids in cocoa. They've actually been shown to be good for gut health. They can even act like prebiotics.
Prebiotics, like food for good gut bacteria.
Exactly. They help nourish the beneficial bacteria in your gut, which aids digestion overall. So yeah, it could be a gentler option for sensitive stomachs.
Okay, so we're adding potential gut benefits to the mood and heart stuff. That's pretty compelling.
Yeah.
But how do we manage the sugar and calories? We keep saying high quality, but what does that practically mean?
You really have to stick to the darker, the better rule.
Yeah.
And it's less about taste preference here, more about the actual cocoa concentration.
So 70% or higher, like you said.
Yes. Or use unsweetened cocoa powder. It's simple maths, really.
Yeah.
The more cocoa solids, the more flavonoids you get, and the less room there is for added sugar and other fillers.
Yeah.
And think about what you're mixing it with. Using plant-based milks, or just water, gives you more control over the final sugar and calorie count compared to, say, whole milk with added sugar.
Good point. And chocolate comes in so many forms. Bars, powders, those fancy truffles. We need to be clear about what counts, especially with white chocolate being so popular.
Yes. Critical distinction.
Yeah.
When we talk about all these benefits, the PEA, mood boost, the flavonoids, the minerals, we were talking about cocoa solids, dark chocolate is where you find the highest concentration.
And milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate. Well, it has some cocoa solids, but they're diluted with milk powder or condensed milk and often a lot more sugar. So the benefits are reduced.
Okay. And white chocolate, does it have any cocoa solids?
Zero. Controversial maybe, but white chocolate technically isn't chocolate in the same sense. It's made from cocoa butter, the fat, plus sugar and milk. No solids.
So delicious, but not part of this health conversation.
Exactly. For the benefits we're discussing, stick to the dark stuff.
All right, let's get practical and maybe a bit indulgent. Because part of swapping a ritual like coffee is making the new ritual feel just as good, maybe even better. It's not just about dumping powder in hot water, is it? The sources had some specific ways to make it feel luxurious.
Absolutely. A lot of the joy in coffee is that brewing process, the smell. For drinking chocolate, it's really about achieving that rich, smooth, velvety texture, not thin or watery, and how you make it really matters for that.
Okay, let's talk methods. What's the quickest way to get that really smooth, almost fancy coffee shop texture, the blended version?
Yeah, if you have a blender, even just a handheld immersion blender, use it. Take a good quality dark chocolate bar, break it up, and blend it with about, say, 200 to 300 milliliters of hot milk.
Right.
The blender does the work fast. It emulsifies the fat really well, makes it super smooth and frothy. Quickest way to creamy.
Nice. Now, my personal favorite sounds like the creamy concoction. It sounds like it guarantees that really thick, intense result.
That one takes a little more patience. But yeah, the texture is amazing. You heat about 200 milliliters of milk just to boiling, take it off the heat, add your chopped chocolate bar, give it a quick blend.
Okay, blend it off the heat.
Yeah, then, and this is the key bit, put it back on the heat just briefly, bring it to a boil again for just a moment. That second boil seems to thicken the structure. You get this really intense, almost pudding-like consistency. Holds its heat beautifully too.
Ooh, that sounds incredible. Okay, what if you don't have a blender? The classic stirred method.
Yep, the low-tech way. You just need some warm, maybe frothed milk. Let the chocolate bar sit submerged in the warm milk for a minute or two just to soften it up.
Let it melt a bit.
Right, and you whisk. And you got to whisk hard, like really vigorously until it's totally smooth. Letting it sit for another minute or two after whisking also helps the flavors meld and deepen. Patience is key there.
Got it. Whisk like you mean it. And does it always have to be hot? What about summer?
Not at all. Make it using any of those methods, blended, boiled, stirred facts, then just chill it down completely in the fridge.
Yeah.
Pour it over ice cubes.
Ice drinking chocolate.
Exactly. You still get all the good stuff, just cold and refreshing.
That versatility is great. We've been focused on the drink, obviously, but it's worth remembering that good cocoa powder is amazing in other things too, right?
Smoothies, oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
It adds incredible richness. And of course, baking, brownies, cakes, high-quality cocoa makes a huge difference there.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. We're definitely not saying quick coffee, cold turkey, but we are suggesting that maybe, just maybe, you should consider working some high-quality drinking chocolate into your life. Perhaps swapping out that afternoon coffee or even the morning one sometimes.
Yeah, the reasons are pretty solid, and they're backed by evidence. You're looking at significantly less caffeine, which is huge for many people.
Right.
You've got real measurable benefits for heart health, brain function, thanks to those amazing flavonoids, potential digestive relief compared to coffee. And then there's that unique mood boost, that comfort factor from the PEA, without the jitters.
It really does seem like cocoa should be thought of less as just candy and more as this, well, nutrient-dense food with a really long history of use.
Exactly. Charles M. Schultz, the Peanuts guy, he once said, all you need is love, but a little chocolate now and then doesn't hurt.
Huh, I like that. So here's the final thought to leave you with. If cocoa really is this kind of superfood, packed with compounds that might reduce chronic disease risk and genuinely lift your mood without the caffeine downside, what if making one small mindful switch, like swapping just one daily coffee for a really good high cocoa drinking chocolate, what if that could actually make a noticeable positive difference to how you feel day in and day out?
It's definitely something worth trying, isn't it? See how it feels for you.